From strange little tarsiers being related to humans to the devastating effects of Hurricane Matthew, this is Trending Tuesday. Number 7. A tough break. Some sad news to report from the animal kingdom. An entire species went extinct recently when the last Rab's fringe-limbed tree frog passed away. Take a good look at the frog in these pictures by Joel Sartori, because you probably won't see this species again. Literally, the last of its kind died at his home in the Atlanta Botanical Gardens. The frog became famous as a symbol of the extinction crisis and was thought to be at least 12 years old, although his exact age was unknown. The doomed frog species once inhabited the forests of Panama before falling victim to the chytrid fungus, which has destroyed amphibian populations around the world. Number 6. Thrice bitten. We learned of an amazing story last week involving a child that survived the bite of a deadly snake. Not once or twice, mind you, but 3 times. A 2-year-old boy was collecting eggs in his family's chicken coop in Agnes Water, Australia, when he was bitten by a coastal taipan. That species is considered the 3rd most venomous snake in the world. Their bite, delivering venom with 12mm fangs, is almost always fatal, often damaging the nervous system and resulting in blood clots. And that's what happened to the child. He was revived after being bitten, but suffered cardiac arrest, which caused a substantial lack of oxygen to the brain, resulting in brain damage. Experts say the child survived thanks to his mother's prompt application of first aid. Number 5. Strange relations. Would you believe humans are related to Yoda? No? Well, how about tarsiers? A study released last week revealed that the carnivorous primates that resemble the diminutive Jedi Master are actually our distant relatives. You wouldn't necessarily see the resemblance. After all, tarsiers are small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. But when scientists examined the animal's DNA, the results showed they're closer to a group containing monkeys, great apes, and humans than they are to lemurs. Tarsiers have been classified as primates, but have been difficult to place, leading scientists to speculate they split off millions of years ago from a common ancestor to monkeys and apes. Researchers think the information could potentially help to study human diseases and also protect animals in the wild. They're found in the rainforests of Southeast Asia and are named for the long tarsus bone in their ankles, which allowed them to make sudden leaps between trees. Do you think humans and tarsiers are related? Number 4. All shook up. Last week, a massive earthquake was predicted to strike Los Angeles. So how many times have we heard that one, right? Well, geologists anticipated a 7-point magnitude or higher quake could strike at any moment. The gloomy predictions were apparently prompted by a series of microquakes that occurred in the Salton Sea, a lake southeast of LA that's located directly on the San Andreas fault. The idea was that a so-called swarm of smaller quakes could trigger the famous fault line and result in a massive earthquake. A lot of anxiety ensued after an earthquake warning was posted for Southern California. Well, the good news is the earthquake alert posted for LA has expired, and the City of the Angels, along with the rest of the Golden State, is evidently none the worse for wear, aside from some shaken nerves stirred up by all the doomsday scenarios. The closest Californians came to experience an earthquake may have been watching a DVD of San Andreas, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Number 3. Mini Megalodon. A new extinct species of shark was identified by researchers that are thought to have existed around 20 million years ago. The revelation was based on some fossilized teeth that were found at 4 different locations, including North Carolina and California. The teeth measure almost 2 inches long. The new species of shark is called Megalomna paradoxodon. I think I got that right, but don't hold me to it. Anyway, it was thought to measure around 13 feet long, about the size of today's great white shark. This new shark species belongs to the same family that includes the extinct super predator Megalodon, or the mega-toothed shark. Scientists are hoping to solve the puzzle of why this large shark with such a wide geographic distribution hadn't been recognized until now. Sounds like a mega-sized mystery. Number 2. Baby dragons. The Olm are ancient aquatic salamanders that lived their entire lives in caves. In the 17th century, heavy rains washed the creatures up from underground waters, and local people believed the Olm to be the offspring of a cave-dwelling dragon. hence the nickname. A month or so back, we ran an episode called 11 Strangest Eggs, and it featured the strange-looking eggs of the olm. Well, here's an update on that story. The eggs, located in Slovenia's Postajna cave, have hatched. Well, some of them anyway. 64 olm eggs were laid by a single female, but only 22 hatched and are still developing. As of last week, the baby dragons are 18 weeks old and are soon to reach adolescence. That period of their lives will last around 15 years. Olms live up to a century, but only lay eggs once or twice a decade. Due to their small numbers and polluted underground habitat, they're considered a vulnerable species. Experts claim that these are the only baby dragons in the world, not counting the Khaleesi's dragons, of course. Number 1. Hurricane Matthew. Chances are you already know a lot about this story. A lot of dire predictions were made concerning Hurricane Matthew, and unfortunately, many of them seem to have come true. The powerful tropical storm slammed into Florida with 100-mile-per-hour winds and pummeled the area with heavy rains last week. The storm is thought to have claimed over 800 lives after tearing through the Caribbean. While Matthew was downgraded from a Category 4 to a Category 3 storm, that just basically means top wind speeds could reduce from 130 to 120 miles per hour. Storm surges up to 11 feet were possible in some areas, and Florida could be hit with 15 inches of rain. A state of emergency was declared in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida, and more than 600,000 have been left without power. The severe weather conditions prompted the closure of Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld, and the public was warned to stay indoors or evacuate affected areas. Despite the catastrophic storm conditions and the warnings, some people still elected to stay put and party their way through the storm.